I was almost raped twice. Once it got really, really close to what...
People out there at the party?
Yes. And the one that it got really, really close with, that man actually did go to prison later on for raping a 13-year-old. And so, he was on me, and he had my pants down, and I was struggling. But
Faith and Failures podcast.
And our dad, I mean, he like went way, way out. And our brothers did too. And when we moved out onto that land and we're living in that lane too, it wasn't just we're homeless living in a tent. It was we're homeless on this land, and every criminal, every drug addict, every alcoholic came there. They knew it was the safest place to party, to
run from the law.
I mean, to hide.
You got released from prison. Where do you go?
You come out there and hide, because we'll hide.
Now, was it y'all's land?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't just random land. It was actually...
No, it was ours. It was ours. Because when our mom died, it paid the land off.
That's right. Okay.
And so at one point in time, after the lean-to, my dad had somehow bought this little tiny trailer house that could probably fit in your kitchen here. And but we still didn't have any water or electricity. And we lived in that. And the parties got bigger and more people. And I was learning to... I was trying to survive. I was almost raped twice. Once it got really, really close to what...
People out there at the party?
Yes. And the one that it got really, really close with, that man actually did go to prison later on for raping a 13-year-old. And so, he was on me, and he had my pants down, and I was struggling. But a guy that was like a brother to us, you know him, Barry Brown.
Okay. That was very bright. Oh.
Yep. He was and to this day, he's like a brother to me. Yeah. He actually came in and seen what was happening and got the guy off of me and said, hey, nobody's supposed to be in the house. I don't know why you're in the house. You're not supposed to be in the house. And, but I didn't realize at the time, God didn't reveal it to me till a couple of years ago, that was the time that I decided, okay, God's not protecting me. Nobody's protecting me. I've got to protect myself. Yeah. And so I went into, I would put on 2 and 3 layers of clothes. I would go into my room when they would have these parties, which this trailer house had those little sliding doors, which, I mean, you could knock them off the hinge, you know what I'm saying? But I would put up this cot that I had, because we didn't have furniture, and I would put it up against the door, and I would lay in the cot up against the door so that if somebody did come in, I would know that they're trying to get in. I learned to stay up all night and sleep at school. And then I was getting in trouble at school because I was sleeping at school. And so
don't take showers unless you have protection in the house.
No.
Things like that.
I didn't go to other people's houses and take showers because I was scared. I didn't recently start taking showers in my own home alone until about a year ago, when my daughter said, I had told her she was leaving, and I was like, hey, Sin, can you wait so I could take a shower? And she was like, why can't you take a shower if I'm not here?
So you never said this to her before? Nobody knew this?
No.
Nobody knew it.
No, I didn't even realize that I was doing it.
You suppress it,
yeah.
Until it's revealed to you.
And I think what happens is when you live a childhood like I had to live, it becomes your normal.
Yeah.
So you don't think of it as a insecurity or a flaw or I'm not sure what.
Or like an unhealthy
right
decision,
or trauma.
Maybe trauma. Yeah. So
we make decisions based on the trauma.
Yes. Yeah.
And a lot of times those decisions are not, they're based on fear.
Yeah.
So fear doesn't come from the Lord.
Right.
So the actions that you're taking and that you're raising your children in are not healthy.
Right.
So it was just you said something to your daughter about staying there, and it clicked.
Yes. And I was like, she said, why can't you take a shower while you're here in the house by yourself? And I was like, because somebody might break in. And she's like, yeah, some random person's walking around the house, Mom, looking to break in to come get you out of the shower. And I was like, okay, that does sound a little crazy. I'm like, okay, Steve, you can leave. I'll take a shower.
Our kids, right? They're so honest. Yeah.
But you do these kinds of things. And I think what happens, and this is the beautiful thing about it, is through my life, the decisions and choices I made before Christ, before I had him, was who I was. But when he entered, he slowly begins to clean your life out, because he wants me to be closer to him, and he can't have me living in fear because I won't take a shower.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's releasing me from the prisons that I've imprisoned myself. to try to avoid hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I even realized too, this is what I was going to tell you earlier, when I was almost raped and I had closed God out because I was like, you don't got me. You know, I'm going to have to get my own self. A year or so ago, about the same time, I realized that God did protect me. That guy did not rape me.
Yeah.
He didn't make it. God sent Barry in to rescue me. It wasn't Barry that rescued me. It was God that rescued me.
Yes.
And so it was like my perspective was wrong. And God has
Which
to
happens
change
to us a lot.
and He has to change our perspective because we're overcoming, we're healing, and then through that process, our perspective has to change so that I can go out and do what we're doing now. Because there's other children out there who have been raped, who have been neglected, who have been
Sex trafficked.
you know, and they need someone to be able to say, you know what, that happened to you, but God can use that. You know, you're not broken.
Well, Romans 8:28, you know, how God takes things that, you know, have happened to us or things that are bad and turns those to the good.
Yes,
You know,
and that's what He does.
Lives.
Yes.
Sanctification.
You know, and I can remember after all that, you know, being 13, and I tried to kill myself. I actually took the razor blade. I done it the long way, the right way, and blood started coming out, and I started freaking out, and I was putting toilet paper on it, and I was wrapping a sock around it, and I was crying because I was just like, you know what, God, and I may cry about it, but I'm healed from it. But when I talk about it, it's beautiful, you know, because I can see where I was and where I am now. But I can remember thinking, you know, God, if you just get me out of here, you know, I'll serve you for the rest of my days. And He sent Aaron, which we did go about it the wrong way. We got pregnant and then we got married.
Well, you didn't say you would serve him perfectly, sister.
Right, right. And I still failed him.
It's hard to get down this order we're supposed to do. But my goodness, I was reading the Old Testament the other day. I'm like, holy crap, how can they keep track of all this stuff?
Yes.
Man,
Yes. There's no way. Yes.
thank you, Chief.
Are you talking
I'm
about
so glad
Leviticus?
I'm so glad that you love me, Lord.
Yes, I am specifically.
Yes. I'm so glad that we live under grace.
Oh, yeah.
And not the law, because I failed.
I'll be a terrible Jew.
Me too. Me too.
Forced you.
Me too.
I've not been a very good Gentile. But anyway.
Yeah. And so we
I feel better. I mean,
I know that's right.
being a Jew.
Yeah. Yeah. But then I mean, I can remember those words so plainly because once I got out of it, me and Aaron did not put God where He was supposed to be. I was like, oh, I'm out, I'm free, and here's my knight in shining armor, and we can just live life the way we want to. Well, I didn't realize that Aaron was an alcoholic. Okay? So I just thought we drank together. Well, when I got pregnant, I quit drinking because I just done it because I hated my life and I wanted to die.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought, well, he can just give it up too. Well, he couldn't. He liked it for whatever reason. And I can remember telling him,
She's doing it again.
because it's rough,
And I don't want to interrupt your
Yeah, it's rough.
No, but it's like, oh gosh, I just can see beautiful things.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, he, where she said, you know, okay, beat on, join on, and she didn't finish the word, I did.
Yeah.
And so I can remember telling Aaron, I feel Satan is on us. We need to get in church. We need it. And this was when Selena was probably about 3 or 4. She had been a little older. Time is kind of.
no, it was about that time because remember she was in kindergarten when you went to Ohio or wherever it was.
So I told Aaron that, and he said, I'm not going to church, and we're just not. And so I was like, okay, well, fine. Then I'll just join you. So then I started drinking with him. Well, then I started going across the street because at this time we were living in that trailer house that my dad had gotten, but we had water and electric then.
Yeah.
And my dad had a trailer house across the way, and I would go over to my dad's house and smoke weed with my dad. And then it escalated to, this was back when AOL was a big thing.
Yeah. I remember those days.
Yeah. And I had gotten on there and started chatting. Next thing you know, I'm moving me and my child to Ohio. I have an affair on Aaron.
And the whole time I'm telling her, look, you're married. You can't run with single people.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
It's 2 different lifestyles.
Yes. Yes. Well, then I come back and I moved my 2 cousins in to the house with us that are single. And we started going clubbing and drinking and partying. And
You've moved back through an old Indian woman that had turquoise jewelry, which was something that the Lord worked through at that time, at that very moment.
I moved back because of that reason.
Yes.
Yes. When I was in Ohio, I went to a little store, and it was it looked like a little wooden shack, but it was a little old store. And I had went in there, and I was just looking around.
I love how God works.
And
Smiling, just watching you smiling.
And this little Indian woman had come out, which Indians mean a lot to me because I come from Cherokee Indians, and it's just I'm in awe of them. And
Our mother loved turquoise.
yeah, she did. Like she had a ring on every finger that was turquoise. And this little lady come out.
Fights.
And the little lady, she had come up and she handed me this cross necklace that had a stone in the middle of it that was turquoise. And she said, I want you to put this on and I want you to go home. And I said, what?
This lady did not know my sister.
And she said, I know you're running from something.
It was the whole.
I know it was total God.
It was good.
Because she said, I know you're running from something and I know you're not where you belong. I want you to take this cross, put it on your neck, and I want you to get your kid and I want you to go home where you're from.
She been reading your AOL.
Okay. No, that's right. Yeah. And I mean, I was just like, okay. So I loaded up Selena. We got in that truck and we left. And I came home.
Wow.
It took 2 years of beating myself up. I came back to Aaron, but I
living in the imprisonment of shame and guilt.
But I moved out of our trailer house and I moved into a house in town. And Aaron would come all the time whenever he was at home from work because he worked downtown. And he would say, I love you. I just want to get back together. And I would tell him, I don't love you. I just want you to leave me alone. Because at that time, okay, my Aaron, first off, was the only man that I'd ever been with intimate. He was the one and only. So when I had that affair, it crushed me. I couldn't even believe that I'd done it. I cried the whole time. Couldn't even believe I'd done it. But it's like when you're in a whirlwind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't know how to get out. And he forgave me instantly. Wanted me to come back instantly. I couldn't forgive myself.
Yeah.
You get out the way get out the way Peter got out. You know what I'm saying? When he stepped out of that boat and he started to sink.
Yeah.
And Jesus said, basically focus on me.
Yeah.
That's how you get out.
Yes.
Of whatever the.
But at the time, you don't know that.
Faith and Failures Podcast.